Where has this seed come from? What are the seed's ancestors? That's really important. And it's something you can't deny. Our roots coincide at a certain point, and at that point is a responsibility that we share for that connection. It's involuntary, it's like breath. Darwinian evolution talks about the survival of the species depends on the ability to reproduce. And it's the seed which holds that. So the seed is a symbol.
For 10,000 years, people in all parts of the world have developed a wonderful diversity of foods. And these come from some 7,000 species, some say 10,000 species of crops, 40 species of animals which have been domesticated, and tens of thousands of different aquatic organisms. That diversity is what nourishes people. A biodiverse, rich diet gives health. A biodiverse, rich diet provides for a sustained environment. A biodiverse, rich diet is one that helps us realize food sovereignty. And up until about 150 years ago, that was the diversity that fed everybody. And then came the industrial food system. And what happened relatively rapidly was that the great diversity of foods were narrowed down to relatively few, to the point that today, more than 60% of industrial food comes from just 4 crops: wheat, maize, rice, and potatoes. This industrial food system abhors diversity. It wants to have uniformity in the production system and in processing, and then to recreate diversity on supermarket shelves. Manufactured diversity, as we call it.
So we produce enough calories in our food system to feed the world twice over. So we have enough calories to feed 14 billion people today. So we don't need GM to feed the world in any way at all. GM is really there about financing companies, and companies are there, of course, to make a profit. In the old days, you would buy a packet of seeds, you'd pay a small amount for that, you would grow your food, you'd seed save, and you've only paid that once. It belongs to the property to you. GM is about earning profit of farmers and people and ultimately every consumer every single year, and that's what GM is about. And we see that also in the GM legislation as well, where GM crops are not subject to the same legislation that other things are, and it's to make sure that they can continue to sell them at profit.
Citizens, people, our society as a whole has become disconnected from the means that sustain life. We have no connection any longer with our food system. We no longer know where our food comes from. Our children do not know where our food comes from. We cannot continue to walk blindly into this tragedy. We have to reconnect. We have to re-educate our children. We have to re-educate ourselves.
There are many of us who celebrate this diversity, plant multiple varieties in their allotments, in their gardens, who recognise the value of having that diversity in production, in their diet, and who, wanting to realise food sovereignty, want to make sure that all the agricultural biodiversity that feeds us can be kept alive.
By providing information, citizens can become empowered and we can take back our food system. The future generations depend on our winning back power. That's why seed festivals, coming together, exchanging information is critically important.
So it's a direct assault on our democracy, and we really need to kind of get together for it to stop.
So-called independent researchers who tell you that GM's safe, this is because they've all got a vested interest in it. They all own patents. They all own intellectual property rights in GM, so how can you trust them?
Throughout human history, humans have come together to celebrate and exchange seed and knowledge about seed and food. So bringing back these festivals to do this is vital. And this also encourages others who haven't thought about the importance of seed as the basis of our food system to come together to learn from others and to start to understand seed and to start to plant seed and experience the joy of understanding the whole cycle of life through the seed.